Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best gaming monitors to use that is going to help you out when it comes to input delay, utilizing the most amount of frames that you can, and just the best monitors to use as far as colors and just everything overall. So if you guys are looking for a new gaming monitor, or if you guys are just curious to see what the best ones are, definitely stay to the end of the video. I'm going to share with you guys some things you should look out for and some really helpful guide to buying your next monitor. So definitely stay to the end of the video. And real quick, before I get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be sharing with you guys different gaming monitors, just some things to look out for and just the basics overall, because some of you guys have absolutely no idea what you're looking at when it comes to different monitors. So first things first, when it comes to the different monitors that you can pick from, they all have a certain hertz. And hertz, which you'll see on the end of a lot of monitors, you have either 60 hertz, 144 hertz, 240 hertz, and then you have 360 hertz, and that's the maximum that's out right now. And when it comes to hertz, a really simple way to understand this is, if you guys don't already know, it's the maximum refresh rate your monitor can get. So for example, if you have a 60 hertz monitor, the maximum FPS that you can see on that monitor is 60. So even if you have a PC that gets 1000 FPS, if you're on a 60 hertz monitor, you can only see 60 FPS. Same thing to be true with a 144 hertz monitor. Even if you have 1000 FPS on your PC, if you have a 144 hertz monitor, the maximum FPS that you can see is 144. So hopefully that made a lot of sense, and same thing is true with 240 and 360. But if you have, say, a PC that gets 100 FPS and you have 144 hertz monitor, then you'll just see 100 FPS. Basically, the hertz, all that is the maximum refresh rate that you can get on that said monitor. And since I know most of you guys are on console, so when it comes to console, the monitor that you need to pick out as far as the refresh rate, I'll get into other things as well, but as far as the refresh rate, with the next generation consoles, they can have 120 FPS, meaning that if you want to see those 120 frames, you have to get a monitor that has a refresh rate of at least 120 hertz. I would recommend anything from 120 hertz to 144, either or doesn't really matter, but you have to have at least 120, because when it comes to monitors that have 240 hertz or 360, those would work as well. But when it comes to those monitors, they're way more expensive, and you don't need to spend the extra money for those refresh rates, because you're not even going to be able to use them. So like I said, if you play on console, you only need to get a monitor that has 120 hertz or 144, because those are going to have the best prices for them, and those are the monitors that you want to get. And when it comes to the response time, you want to get a monitor that's 1 millisecond, but you have to make sure that it's 1 millisecond gray to gray, which will be GTG, which you'll see in a lot of monitors. And here's the thing, is there's some monitors, and I have seen this on MSI, where they've had a monitor that said 1 millisecond, but it wasn't gray to gray, which is the true 1 millisecond that you want, because there's different response times on different monitors, but you have to make sure it's 1 millisecond and that it's gray to gray response time. That's how you know you're going to have a monitor with the lowest input delay, which is really important. It's going to make your controller feel a lot more responsive, and it's just something that you want to have. So you have to make sure your monitor's on 1 millisecond. So like I said, if you're on console, you want to get a monitor that's 120 hertz or 144, and you want to make sure it's 1 millisecond and gray to gray. Now when it comes to the different brands and which ones to choose, usually when it comes to the different brands, one thing that I notice is the more money that you tend to spend the better the colors look on that said monitor. Because if you get say you get 144 hertz monitor 1 millisecond for like $120, yeah, it'll work fine, but the colors will probably look like absolute trash. So generally speaking, the more money you spend, the better the colors are going to be, without the exception of size. So when it comes to size, you want to have a 25-inch gaming display. You don't want to have a 27-inch, because I've had 27 inches before and they're honestly just too big. You're not going to be able to see your entire screen without having to turn your head left to right. But if you have a 25-inch or 24-inch monitor, you're going to be able to see the entirety of your screen without any issues. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. But when it comes to monitors, you shouldn't be spending any more than $200 for 144 hertz. That's before tax. Depending where you live, sometimes the taxes might be a little bit higher, but you shouldn't be spending any more than $200. That's about the price range you're going to get as of a good one. And some of the popular brands are, say, BenQ, you have Asus, and you also have Alienware. There's some other ones as well. So when it comes to different brands, really there isn't too much of a difference other than the colors. So you just have to do your research on what you think works best. But generally speaking, the more money you spend, the better the colors are going to be. I've always had Alienware monitors. I've liked theirs the best. I've tried BenQ, and BenQ monitors are great, but they end up having a little bit bigger bezels, which are like the black bars on the side. But those monitors are really great. The colors look awesome. It's just the bezels don't look as clean as some of the other monitors. But I personally like the Alienware monitors as far as the brand to go with. Like I said, you guys can choose whatever you like, but you don't want to go anything above 144 hertz if you are on console. And also Asus is really great as well. I would definitely recommend their brand too. I have an ultra wide that's an Asus. I haven't tried their, say, 144 hertz ones, but if their quality is really good on the one I have, I assume that their other ones are going to be as well. So same with BenQ and the other brands, but you don't want to get those brands that, what are those, like AOC monitors or whatever they're called. Those work fine, but the colors are atrocious. So if you want to have a monitor that works well, also has good colors, then you're going to have to buy some of the bigger brands as far as monitors, which cost just a little bit more. But trust me, they are worth it when it comes to the colors. And next, I want to talk about if you play on PC, because it is a little bit different. So if you play on PC, one thing you want to keep in mind is that you're going to have screen tearing if you don't get the right monitor. And what screen tearing is if you turn really fast left to right, your screen will have a tearing effect. And this happens when the FPS isn't synced to your monitor's refresh rate. So if you guys play on PC and you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you want to get a monitor that has GSync. GSync definitely costs a little bit more, but you want to have this feature. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of screen tearing. For console, it doesn't matter because on consoles, they all have VSync. And the downfall of that is it adds input delay, but it's just kind of the thing that you have to have on console. But when it comes to PC, you're going to have a little bit less input delay, but you want to have a monitor that has G-Sync on it if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, so you don't have a bunch of screen tearing. If you have AMD, I think you can find any monitor that has FreeSync. And that's something to keep in mind too, is if you have an NVIDIA graphics card and you get a monitor that has FreeSync, sometimes you might be able to use it, sometimes you might. Really just depends on said monitor. But generally speaking, you want to have G-Sync if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. It's going to reduce all screen tearing completely and make your game look a lot smoother. And another thing to mention, if you are on PC, you do have the option to be able to play on a higher FPS. You are able to play on 144, 240, or 360 FPS if your PC can get up to those frames, because on console, you're going to be capped at 120 if you are on the next gen. If you're on the old gen, you're going to be capped at 60. So when it comes to this, as far as the monitor, or as far as my opinion, if it's worth it to get a 200 hertz, a 360 hertz, or just to get a 144, I would recommend I think 144 hertz is going to be the best. Is going to be the best value for your dollar. If you have the money, 240 is definitely great, and you will see an improvement, which is a monitor that I currently have. In my description, I have the monitor that I'm using. 240 is great, but the thing is, if you just don't have the money for it, and if you don't have the expendable income, it really just isn't worth the difference, in my opinion, because you're going to be spending probably another $150 to maybe even $200 more for that monitor, and it's just not going to be worth the price if you don't have it. You're better spent the money's better spent on a better graphics card, maybe even a better CPU, or just some upgrade with your PC, or maybe a new controller or keyboard and mouse, whatever the case may be. You're going to find more value spending that extra money on stuff like that than having a higher refresh rate monitor. You want to have at least 144 hertz monitor, but as far as above that, it really just isn't worth the price jump. Same with 360 hertz. Yeah, 360 hertz is really great, but at the same time, it's only just slightly better than 240, and it costs upwards of $700, which is kind of insane for a monitor. It's really, really expensive, so it probably just isn't worth it for the majority of players. So that's just my opinion on as far as the refresh rates, which one you should get if you play on PC. Like I said, 144 hertz I would recommend. If you have the money, go for 240. You just have to make sure your graphics card can get that many frames, which most can in Fortnite and other games as well, because it's not the hardest games to get. As long as you have like a 2060, you should be able to get somewhere around that range. But anyways, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys found it of value and helped you out. If you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit the notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload. And as well, do live stream every single day on the channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you guys will get notified for every single time I go live on the channel. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.